I was recently asked by several parents to tell them the difference between Matthew C. and Jacob's algebra. I really enjoyed teaching Jacob's elementary algebra. When my son went through the program, I was a little hesitant to embrace this book, as it looks so different from the Saxon material that I've taught from for years. It almost read like a storybook, and this didn't make sense to me. I was used to introducing a little bit of a topic, practicing and reviewing past lessons, and moving on to another small bite of a new topic. The spiral approach with Saxon is what I was used to teaching, and this was a new experience. It was not until I began teaching from this book a few years later that I saw the value of Jacob's system. He begins each lesson with a story or a little bit of history from real-life examples that are going to be introduced in this lesson. He then moves into the new concept beautifully. The real learning takes place in the homework, though. I spent the last year doing all the homework assignments with my students. It helped me to appreciate the way Jacobs walks the students through the lesson bit by bit. He begins the homework assignments with 3 review questions from previous lessons, but then introduces the new lesson with pretty simple questions. After the students have success with these, he has them try another step and ask some questions along the way to help them actively learn the concept that was introduced. By the end of the homework assignment, the students should feel pretty confident with the material taught. It's very important that the students actively engaged in homework with Jacobs, as this is where most of the lesson takes place. The final section of the homework is the challenge question, which allows the students to think through what they've learned and apply it to a scenario. I actually introduced a lesson last week. One of my students asked several questions and then told me that he was just going to go do the homework. He told me that the homework helped him to understand the lesson, and by the time that he was finished with the homework, he very rarely had any questions. This is how the program works so beautifully. The kids are active learners. This program is well-rounded and definitely a good choice for Algebra 1 students. The other program that I teach in Veritas is Matthew C. This program is very different from both Saxon and Jacobs. Matthew C is set up for visual and tactile learners. The curriculum seems to go at a slower pace, but still covers everything that the other 2 programs cover. It is a mastery program, which means that you learn the new concept well before moving on to the next concept. We are able to spend about a week on most of the new concepts and allow the students plenty of time to practice before moving on. It's designed so that the kids can use manipulatives if they need to, but we do not use them as much as the younger grades do. In my classes, it's just an illustration as to the why we do the problems the way we do it. The kids have workbooks to complete their assignments in. Now, the first 2 sections in each lesson is devoted to the new material covered in the lesson. The next 3 sections will be a bit of a review from past lessons as well as the new material. And the last section is considered an honor section, as this is a bit of a challenge. The kids will use algebra in real-life situations in this section. Matthew C is not an easier math program. It is still a challenging program. So I would say the difference is that Jacobs takes bite-sized pieces in each lesson and builds until the students are able to understand and apply this information to the concept being taught. Whereas Matthew C introduces a complete concept visually with manipulatives and real-life scenarios and allows more time to practice this concept. Both programs focus on why math works the way it does, but I do feel that Jacob spends a little bit more time on the how to solve the math problems. At the end of the day, both programs get the job done. It just depends on your child's learning style. I'm Shana Deemy, and I teach Saxon Pre-Algebra as well as Matthew C and Jacob's Algebra 1 at Veritas Scholars Academy. I have multiple sections available for the 2025-2026 school year. To see more information, comment math below and we'll send you a link.